combined learning outcomes, reduced them to 4. Now I can make a pretty good argument that we just kept everything. We didn't really reduce anything. Look at the last one, global citizenship, ethics, and diversity. Because nobody really wanted to give up turf. But we reduced them down to 4 and then added a 5th one. And this is where, I gotta tell you, our librarians worked really hard. And politics, frankly, really hard. And we made sure that the university included information literacy and technology as university student learning outcome. And our argument was pretty simple. Over and again, we argued that we're preparing students for the knowledge economy. They must be information literate or information fluent. And the university and the faculty bought that argument, and it's now one of our university learning outcomes. Now, once you make it a university learning outcome, you have to figure out how to teach it. So we stepped up and said, hey, we can do that too. This idea of credibility is more important than owning stuff is something that our librarians really believe and embrace. So what they did, after we made the argument for the university student learning outcome of information literacy, is we argued that our new first-year experience program needed to be based in the library and needed to have the student learning outcome of information literacy. We argued that students, to be successful in the university, must be information literate. They must understand, and this was before the era of fake news. And the university said, fine, you guys gotta do that. So we built a first-year experience program, the clients, We 101, around this idea of information literacy. And over again, we drive home this point about the credibility of information and the importance of information literacy to student success. That's our 4 to 4 first-year full-time retention rates at Washburn University. About 50% of our students are first generation, like I said, pretty low socioeconomics. Our students come to us from some interesting backgrounds, and our retention rate is exploding. Now, there's no causation argument here. This is an argument for correlation. But it's an awful easy conversation now to have with the president when I say, you know, Mr. President, your libraries retain your students. Your librarians are driving the fiscal success of this university. Kansas, like every place, I mean, we have a governor who you know, we've been in the news for our government cut taxes and our budget plummeted, but the good news is everything's gonna be okay one day. So we've faced all the same budget cuts, right? I can tell you that what's happened, and again, you'll probably see this in a chart that we bring to Philadelphia, we are no longer seen as an expense to university. In 2008, they used to talk at university, they used to talk about how the libraries cost about $2 million a year to run. Now, the conversation is about how the libraries add about $6 million a year to the university's bottom line. And when you're seen as not as a cost center, but as a profit center, it's astonishing how many meetings you get invited to. It's astonishing how much your voice matters in the direction of the institution. Right? So, but this project led to the realization that we had to do something more. And the Lyricist Catalyst Fund opportunity came at just about the perfect time for us. Because what we realized was in 15 weeks with students in the first semester, it's a required, We 101, our first year experience class, it's a required graded 3 credit hour university required course. We realized 15 weeks wasn't enough. And you're looking ahead at the curriculum, and where do you get more and more? Well, you partner with people to build in more information literacy experiences. But we were looking at these new students, and our students are not getting better. ACT scores in Kansas are declining. All the growth in the student body is from underrepresented student groups who are coming from under-resourced high schools. So they're not coming to us, college-ready students are not growing in Kansas. We realized we couldn't wait. We had to do something sooner with the students. So the Lyricist Fund, the timing could not have been better for us because we had already started a very early conversation with some of our high school librarians about what could we do together to introduce information literacy sooner into the high schools. And we wanted to improve their understanding of information literacy. We wanted to help them realize a university library is more than a book-filled, scary place. And the high school librarian said, well, here's what we need, but we've got no money. Here's what we need, but we have no time. So we said, well, what about if we built some open source information literacy modules and loaded them onto phones, mobile, always mobile. My son is 13, he's in the 8th grade. I've got a daughter who's 11 in the 6th grade. Everything is mobile for them, right? So we said, what would it look like if we made it mobile? And start to build a language and an understanding of information literacy that would work for us and then ultimately be scalable all the way through high school and the university. And the high school librarians kind of jumped on it and said, well, we've got to include middle school librarians. Can't do it about middle school librarians because we need them to understand what's going on. So then we started talking to about 20 middle and high school librarians. So this project's unfolded. And this is what we found out their ratio is. In our middle schools, this is just in Shawnee County, Kansas, our middle school librarians are 1 to about 486, and our high school librarians are 1 to about 1344. Those numbers are not too bad, relatively speaking. You can go just outside of Shawnee County, where we live, into some of the other counties, and they have no high school librarian, they have no middle school librarian. It turns out Shawnee County is a little different because of the presence of Topeka Shawnee County Public Library. There's a commitment to libraries there that rapidly dissipates once you move beyond our county lines. So the librarians, we started talking to them, and here's where we're headed. This is just a glimpse of what it's going to be. And this is a screenshot of something they're building for younger students, actually now elementary age, 5th graders. We're now working with 5th grade teachers, and this is kind of our 5th grade. And they're still working on this, but we're working with 5th grade now, all the way through. We're pursuing a vision, really, of pre-K through 20 education, a seamless education in our county, and we're going to move beyond our county. Well, we're already moving beyond the county pretty rapidly. And it's built on information literacy, because we believe, and our argument is, and we think we have enough evidence to make this argument, that the difference between the college-ready student and the not college-ready student is their understanding of information literacy, their ability, their level of information fluency. So we're starting younger and younger. We've learned some immediate lessons. I had no idea how much our middle and high school librarians, this is me personally, but I think it's probably true for our other librarians, we had no idea how much our middle and high school librarians and our elementary school librarians, but our middle and high school librarians in particular, become viewed as tech support. So Kansas had 105 counties, and we're down to 380-something school districts, and that's public school districts. In Shawnee County, where we are, there are shattering number of school districts, right? There's so many. And they're driven by all the usual socioeconomic racial factors, white flight, and so on. Every one of our school districts has a one-to-one computer project for middle and high school students. So Chromebooks or iPads. And in every case, they've made the librarian the overseer of the one-to-one computer initiative. They've turned them into tech support. They're not librarians anymore. They're not even media specialists. They're literally managers of the one-to-one computer initiatives. So the middle and high school librarians have really kind of jumped into this project with us because that they see a way to remind everybody and demonstrate their importance to college readiness as students move through the K-12 system. And I was telling Beth that one of our best high school partners is probably going to come to Philadelphia with us and talk about that. I'll come back to the bilingual thing, but the partnership thing becomes a big deal. I mean, we went into this project really quite selfishly. We were trying to figure out how to further improve retention and student success at Washburn, and we figured we'd write in on our white walls, hand the high school and middle school librarian something and say, do this for your students so we can have better students. Turned out our initial vision of what we were going to give them was not quite right. We've learned a great deal about, just student preparedness at different levels. And so we're having to build our apps and our web presence for middle school students slightly different than the high school students. And we're having to align them with the state curriculum and different things. So the partnership part of this has been brilliant. And what that has done is allowed the high school, middle school librarians to talk to high school, middle school librarians in districts beyond our counties, to English teachers beyond our kind of service area. And now we have school districts from Western Kansas, which is a long way from where we are, calling us up saying, when can we get that app? When can we get that for our students? And because our librarians that we're working with are making it very clear that this is a community project and it's all open access and it's all free. And it turns out people are really hungry for this because they know that they've got to help their students be college ready, which means they need to be information fluid. We've also learned everything needs to be bilingual. It never occurred to us, and I've got Spanish-speaking people that work for me because we have a growing Hispanic population. It never occurred to us to build everything, when we started this project, that we would have to build everything in a bilingual fashion. And we're not building it in a bilingual fashion for the students, but we're building it for their parents and extended family. And it just wasn't on our radar when we started this project. And we are more than a little bit embarrassed by that because we do build a lot of stuff in a bilingual manner. But again, we had this kind of limited view of what we were going to do. The project, the fund, the Lyricist Fund came along at a really good moment in time for us because we were kind of thinking about this project. The fund has allowed us to direct resources and energy to the project. But there were some things we just missed. And as soon as we started talking to the high school, middle school librarians, they said, well, where's your bilingual plan? And they said, well, why do we need a bilingual plan? We're building this for the students. And they said, right. And they kind of stared at us like we were idiots. And they said, but who do you think is going to talk to these students when they go home at night? They've got to be able to talk about this with their parents. They've got to be able to explain to their parents what it is they're doing and why they're doing it, which means for their parents and for their extended family members, it needs to be bilingual. So we're busy kind of building now everything in English and Spanish, and we're trying to decide what else, because Kansas has some, we have a large pocket of Vietnamese people, a large pocket of Somalian refugees, all of them working in meatpacking plants. And we've got to figure out how far to go with our, so right now we're bilingual, now we're trying to think about multilingual. So there's some immediate lessons, and I'll stop there and just